And we're back, folks. Episode 4 of BMF Heroes. Nigerian Lucas here for our complete breakdown of this episode. Man, look, if I had to make corrections to this show 4 episodes in, I would have made episode 2 episode 1, and I would have made episode 4, this one, episode 2. And those other 2 episodes, I don't know what I would have did with them. To be honest, I've been trying to figure that out for a second. I'm like, I don't know what to do with those other 2, but maybe we can pretend they don't exist or something.
But the question is, would that fix the pacing of this show?
I think so. I think for the second episode, everybody agreed, actually.
Yeah, that was the better episode. Yeah.
Yeah.
Much better.
That was the introduction to this world, to the characters, and so on. And I felt like this episode brought up the big predicament, the threat, the possible solution, new characters. I feel like it did everything that you want to see in the second episode. If you had to really close your eyes and you had not seen any episode period, and you watched this episode, would you say this is 4, or would you say 3, 2, definitely not 1?
But the weird part is it plays actually like an episode that will be later on in the season. Because in this episode, if this was episode 2, right? You would question some of their motives.
Okay.
Like, you would question what's the big deal, even though I'm still questioning about B. Mickey magically being gone for a whole day.
Yeah, we gotta talk about that.
Not answering anything of that nature.
We gotta talk about that.
Here's the issue. We are not going to repeat everything we said last review in this review. Just know, if you niggas slowed down a little bit, gave us a little more, and stop being so obvious about things.
Yeah,
like when they met at the bar. And they were looking for the guy in the blue shirt, and magically this woman walks in with the same color shirt. Nothing hips to maybe that's the person we're supposed to be meet with. Instead, this episode took Meech away from making smart decisions.
Yeah.
He's literally made smart decisions for the first 3 episodes, and here they got him acting like a little corner boy.
Yeah, I agree. And let me ask you a question before we actually dive into things here. Do you want to start in the beginning of the episode or the end?
Oh, of course we're not starting at the beginning.
All right, then let's go to what you're talking about. Big L, the new Connect, is a woman. And I'm pretty sure you got tidbits to add to that, because you talk about this era. As we talked about in another show about women being connects in this time period. What does that mean in regards to respect, statue, all that other stuff? But that character is introduced, and she says she only wants to work with T. What's your thoughts?
Her wanting to only work with T makes perfectly good sense.
Not even a question.
After her introduction to Meech.
Yeah.
But what it would have done, what it could do as it pertains to the story, it makes you question, why? Why would T be okay with that?
Yeah, well, I got to answer to that if you want to ask me. T has felt inferior to Meech. This automatically makes him the superior. He has the one thing Meech doesn't have right now, the solution to the plug. And they went Meech way. He asked, could he do his way? Meech was like, no, let's do it my way. Numerous times, twice, I think they went Meech way, and it backfired, which we'll talk about Pat in a second.
But the weird part is, this is Meech's way. This is the deal Meech set up.
So look, right. That's what's funny. I wrote that in my notes, and I was like, yeah, it's weird because it is Meech's plan, but the execution is done differently. And again, you look at what Meech has revolved around him. And him being the hothead, him being very, I'll say, it's back against the wall now. He's definitely in a real bind. Man, and I think it's easy to look at T, who's clearly going through some things, a lot of things, shall we say. And he seems more composed. I don't necessarily think T solo is the answer, but I think it's very easy and obviously to say, I'd rather deal with that guy. You know what I mean?
But from one episode to the next, they literally switched these two.
Yeah.
And that's I need them to decide how they're going to play out these two. You can't do this again, because T was just a hothead, and then it completely switched in this episode to Meech being a hothead, and I'm like, no.
Let me throw something to you, and it's gonna sound wild, but try to hear me out on this one. Do you think it has anything to do with the women? Think about this. T is now good at home. Wifey's good. Wifey's good. She's good.
When did she become happy? We didn't see it. No one saw her become happy. All we saw is them setting up the christening scene.
Yeah, but that was good. The mall was good. When she went shopping, she was good. She wasn't. I don't want to be disrespectful about this term, but she wasn't being sort of combated towards him like she was last week. So to me, on surface, it's good. And I also can say from a relationship standpoint that when you are doing things, that overwrites whatever friction you got going on at home. Like, they're going to the mall shopping, the kids are there, the kids are happy, then they're doing the whole family thing.
But what friction does Meech have?
No, okay, right. So look, so now Meech just got hit up for some dick, and she was like, yeah, that's all it was. And you can't say that scene wasn't in there to try to define something. My man was mildly in his feelings. He just lost his other girl to Lamar. He goes back to the secondary ones who clearly knew what the play was. And then she was like, yeah, that's all I wanted. You good. So we know Meech, as much as he's running the block and all this other stuff, him having a love interest is a very vital part to his mental. And he right now is without some chicks. He doesn't have anything.
It would make both of them soft.
Okay, but now look at Lamar. You go to Lamar, who got his daughter. He got the girl. She's happy now. Now we see Lamar, as she said, something's different about you.
Because he's running a drug organization again. But it has nothing to do with her. It has to do with Lamar is different.
You can't say that because he was blown about her earlier.
But keep in mind though, he's different because he got his spot back.
No,
that was the most important thing to him.
I don't know if I agree with that. I think his daughter's number one. I really, really do. That's the first thing he did when he got out.
Remember the first thing he actually did was ask why he ain't in the position or why the corners and blocks was gone. That was first thing he did.
For sure. But I think he tried to after he looked at the statue of the organization, he went to see what was up with his daughter. That's and that's the first time we actually, let's put this into perspective. When he went out to see what the block was in the hierarchy and all that, he wasn't blown about that because he knew he was going to be able to get that back on lock. But when he told that he wasn't the daddy, my man was in his feelings, parked outside, seeing what she's doing, and he got his girl back. He got his daughter and he got a corner. So I'm saying, like, Lamar, which I can't wait to talk about, is doing good and he's happy. You know what I mean? And I'm starting to.
I just don't buy it that, unfortunately, for all the women in this show, it has nothing to do with them.
I just don't see why they're characters if they're not going to play a part. I think they're absolutely there and even when you go to Cato, who was completely friend zone and be Mickey, and then went over there,
which made her character the dumbest character on television. Very quickly, they completely disrespected that character in a matter of 2 episodes. But it has nothing to do with the women here, because in all honesty, I think all of them are just background noise. Every female character on this show,
I wouldn't even
of the main ones, and this is even from knowing their story. You know that they are background characters. That's it.
Yeah.
So I don't think I don't think Meech's predicament has anything to do with a woman. I don't think T's predicament has anything to do with a woman. Lamar's predicament clearly is he feels better when he's the man.
Of course.
Not in his woman's life. He feels better when he's the man on the street. When he knows I control this, everything changes with him.
I'm definitely indifferent about this.
We saw that the moment he got to the bowling alley, and the look on his face when he saw them, that was him saying, oh, because here's the thought process with Lamar. She'll come back around when I run the street. Ain't no rush. And that's the key. That's always been his thing. And then what the first thing he do? You know, what did you get me? I can't do that being broke and caring about my daughter, but I can do that being a man.
I do see how they both coincide with each other. I absolutely see that, but I also feel like his relationship with her plays a part, and this is fine because next episode we'll clearly see who's really in their feelings about all that. By all means, we'll agree to disagree, but Meech, in that scene they shot of my man basically used for some D, he definitely feels some type of way about that. And I think, again, like, as much as it's easy to have women is like just a figure in the background, I just don't see it right now. I don't.
You know why I feel it's a figure in the background? I'm sorry. When did we focus on Meech having a daughter already?
Never. Never.
So,
we know.
We wait to episode 4.
Well, again, this is why this feels like episode 2.
So supposedly introduce him with the kid.
We know she was there, but this is why it feels like episode 2 because but again, he basically had his daughter on the back burner, just giving money because he had other girl,
and he was just happy with women when he had the threesome and said, "Man, I even had them eating out each other." He happy as a mother, like he's happy.
I think he's just stunting. To be honest,
that to me is not even. When he told her, she even said, "Oh, I know what this is for." Like, let's not fake. We know what this is for.
Also,
and we only called her for that reason.
Oh, nah. I think he was a little bit more emotionally invested. That's why she told him off. Okay, cool. I'll if you don't agree with this, then that's fine. What about the beginning of the episode? He definitely was in his feelings based on how those girls treated him inside the store, which introduced how
as a kid, of course.
Yes. So you don't think that scene was shot in the way it was, so that we can see that obviously showed his connection with Pat, but also showed his lack of connectability with women.
It's not the women at that show. That showed in their mindset, women will do whatever you want when you have money.
I get that from I see it from both points.
That was clearly the only point. And then every other thing that happened in this episode as it pertained to women had to do with finances. Everything else, every other thing else, not Cato, because she's part of the game, but everything else equated to women and money. When T goes to, and she's like, "Well, I don't want to be no grandmother," and he peeling back money like, "Go ahead, just spend whatever you want. It don't matter." Same equivalence. Women, money. When Meech went to his baby mama's house, who we never knew existed, the first thing he said when she said, "Well, I'll put the dresser together," he said, "Well, you could have called me. I could have did that." She said, "No, you'd have just paid somebody to come over and do it," because he equates women and money. Even also including when she said, "You didn't have to send as much money as you did." Like, she's telling him that's not important. But again, his equivalence is women and money. When he's in the club and he's dropping women and money.
Cool. So when she said that she used them for D, why was he stuck on stupid then?
Because he's not been used before.
Oh, okay. So that's my point.
No, guess what? It's not he's in his feelings. It's always different when, nigga, I use you. You don't use me. That's not a thing of him caring about her in the slightest. That's an ego check.
Oh, okay.
That is all that is an ego check.
Which is also in his feelings. Either way, he's sitting there looking like, "Oh, damn, I got played."
That's not why he was mad. He was mad before that incident. He was making the dumbest decisions in the world.
Oh, for sure. I mean, he went over there thinking that he was going to get taken care of and he was going to get what he wanted, and half of that was true, half of it wasn't. So, but either way, let's talk about Pat for a little bit here. Now, what I liked about this episode is that they really established Pat being a bad motherfucker. They set him up from day one, explaining why he's so respected. It was kind of presented to us in that way of just he's the man, but now we're actually seeing how he moves. Yeah, he had the party in the club and everybody respected him. Yeah, he's the connect, and yeah, we know that he's he is the reason why Meech and T are in the game. But why is he respected? And I think we saw how he moves, how he has his ear to the streets at all times, even when it's apparent that he may be slipping. As I said, he is off his game because he doesn't He's getting all high off his supply, and he is running lean on lean as in low, lean on his product. But I do like how they positioned this character, but ultimately I like how they allow Wood to really flourish with this character. I think the more screen time you give this guy, the more the show is better. By all means, whether he's being a maniac, with the shovel, whether he's high and he's slurring, I mean, whether he's just bossing up on Meech, I think the more time you give Wood, the better I'm off with the show. Like, I need more of this character. And I think this was a good episode into like developing more who Pat is. Because again, I just feel like it was just like a known commodity of like, Pat is the man, respected. Cool. I haven't seen him done anything. Seen him raise his voice, seen him demand money, but why is he respected? But besides Meech's perspective. But now we know you can't do nothing behind his back without him knowing. So
the question is, then how did he find out anything? Except for his man went back and told.
Well, that wasn't gonna be my question, but I was gonna ask you.
Because I'm just saying that because the deal was still set up. So the deal was set up.
Yeah.
1,000% so.
Mm-hmm.
If they wouldn't have been idiots and noticed the person when they walked in the club, like anybody who watches this episode know who that person is. If they would have paid attention to it because it wasn't a man and it was a woman, they never meet Pat again. So
it's a bang thing.
Is that him having his ear to the street, or is that his man after the deal didn't go down the way he wanted it to? Because I'm pretty sure the Connect had to not inform him the deal wouldn't go down properly for him to go back and tell Pat, oh, these little niggas is trying to squeeze you out. Because he had to tell Pat that for Pat to set up anything at that point.
Yeah.
So then at that point, what is it Pat having his ear to the street, or is it the guy almost double crossing Terry and Meech?
Either or.
Him making the mistake of thinking when he double crossed them that Pat wouldn't put two and two together. Like, nigga, you set them up with this new deal.
Yeah,
because he had to tell Pat everything. Because other than that, it would make no sense.
Yeah, either scenario works for me here. It's not one I'm technically. We'll find a solution next week, obviously. But yeah, you're right, which automatically means that Pat is very much aware of Big L and that happening and what that possibly could mean. I mean, does this help Pat in some way, shape, or form as he is low?
I think this makes them get rid of him.
For sure, that's their goal.
Yeah, I mean, like kill him. I think someone's gonna kill him. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, yeah. I don't, because at this point, especially when we get to the next episode and when everything comes out of this deal that was made, when that deal comes out that is being made, and now you no longer need him, and why would I continue to go to you? I have no need for you.
But see, my thing is that I agree. I just don't see it like right now. I think right now, when you talk about immediately what happens, Pat is aware of this deal to some extent. And I think it's going to obviously cause more drama and more turmoil. I don't see how it necessarily plays out, but I do obviously see that the end game is that Pat, the person that they boosted up the entire season, will show how ruthless Meech or T is at some point with him being taken care of. And especially T, who is having all types of, I don't know what the word we're going to use here, but during the christening, he was definitely going through some things, having some visions and whatnot. But I think when to wrap up with the Pat thing, I think it's going to be interesting to see Pat, who no longer has the supply that he once had, and then T and Meech somehow moving more, which doesn't calculate to what Pat is giving out. So that's where we're going to see in the short term. But ultimately, yes, we're going to have a Pat and Meech thing, and T, who clearly is not overseeing Homeboy take that shovel the way he did. So we'll see. And Rock is his name, by the way. I kept saying, what's his name? Rock is the guy that caught the shovel.
Who's
But
supposed to also be Pat's right hand man.
yes,
So
indeed.
Pat just pulled a crackhead move.
Yeah.
He responded like a crackhead would. Like
yeah.
like all of that anger.
Exactly.
And it's not, in the end, it's not for his benefit. And that's what you gotta question. Like, okay, that wasn't the smartest thing to do.
Well, I mean, you go back to what Meech said and what we've known across the board. This is it's very on par for anybody who's on a supply, who's off the coke, to have this outrage, personality.
Not even off coke, no, because you do
whatever you're doing. Either way,
you can indulge in one narcotic.
Yeah, the addict.
And be fine.
Yeah,
it's that other one. It's as Meech said in the car when he was like, "Man, he ain't tooting," because that's fair game. You could toot here and there and be perfectly fine. You may get a little wired, but you'll be fine. But when you start doing crack, as we've seen in any show involving crack, it ain't never a positive thing.
Yeah. So it's problematic, and whether it's going to be conflict amongst the business, it's going to be conflict amongst responsibility, and I forgot the term that Meech used, but nonetheless, a liability. So
unless they keep both of them going,
we'll see, and that's a possibility too.
Let's see how smart the brothers are eventually, and hopefully one of them don't turn angry again.
Yeah, the thing about them is that they're killing the brother aspect to me. I mean, they show friction, but they show unity when they need to. They're there for each other, and it's I got a little bit more to add to that, but we'll come back to that in a second.
Yeah, because I got one more thing to ask you too, and I think you're about to bring it up because I am now questioning something all over again, and it's almost like the first episode didn't play this right, but I need. Who are we talking about next? Because I'm gonna bring it up if I think it's the person we're talking about.
To be honest, I really want to talk about Michael Myers, aka Lamar. This motherfucker.
That's not the person I wanted to talk about next.
Okay, this motherfucker is teleporting everywhere, bro. Like, this dude is a wild dude. Now, let's talk about Lamar, who is really moving in the way he should when you talk about China domination, trying to put the 50 boys out of business.
Yeah.
We do know now his connection with Cato, which happens to do with her dad, which I obviously will find out more about that. But my short answer is that they ran together back in the day, and Cato dad must have did him a solid or whatever it may be, and therefore he probably said, "I'll take her under the wing or get her into the game."
I'm about to say that.
It could be something it's something of that sort had to pique her interest into wanting to do it.
It has to be. I just assume it was something that she owes Lamar.
Well, here's how I look at this, like in a very not really thinking about it hard way. Her dad and Lamar must have ran with each other. Lamar went to jail. Maybe her dad went to jail or got off or got killed or whatever. And Lamar going to jail meant that the blocks, everything went to free agency. And what she once must idolize, realizing as the business is, much like Lamar's boy, when Lamar was gone, everybody went whatever direction, and that got her into the 50 boys. And it seems harmless at this point because you don't know where Lamar's alliance or allegiance is going to be when he comes out, except him wanting to have everything back. So I think there's not a sense of despise towards her in a sense. I think it's one of those oh, okay, you picked the wrong block. Cool. Well, I'm gonna use you for now. You're gonna give me what I need, but just know the only reason I'm not gonna offer you is because of your father.
But would that be enough for her to flip? I don't think that's enough for her to flip. So I think she owes him something. I don't think it has to do with her father. The only thing about her father is they ran together, and that's the reason he didn't kill her. Right. But I think she made a deal with him, and he's cashing in it. Well, he said it in the last episode. He was cashing in on what she owed him. Yeah. So that means she made a deal with him. Whatever deal that is, that's why she did what she did. Yeah. Which again makes more sense than anything else she does in this episode. But that makes sense into everything that happens between them two, is that she made a deal and he's cashing it in.
Yeah, we'll talk about her. Let's finish up with Lamar. What's up with my man Lamar telling baby Zoe the Big Bad Wolf for a bedtime story? That just completely removed the Three Little Pigs from it. Just the Big Bad Wolf on the block.
Yeah, just
that's a wild dude.
Didn't he just try to tell her she had the best corners when they were playing Monopoly?
Yeah,
that's right in his trope. I will be so mad if I was the actual father of this daughter and you are teaching my baby.
That's a wild dude.
All this crazy stuff.
Also,
man.
Also, what's up with Bathroom Chick? He moved on. He done?
Hey man, he hit that joint in the back. What is up with Lamar? Has not gotten the shape up since he got home from prison.
Why would he?
I have been waiting.
Why would he?
You can't. He got every chain in the world on his neck, and he's still like, I refuse to get a shape up at this point in my life. And then you could tell that this is LA. How dare you, even in the 80s, you go to a shoe store and you pick up some Cortezes and say, we wearing these now. Nigga, no, we're not. We are not wearing Cortezes.
Yeah, I like how they ordered it and rolled out. It was a flex, but yeah.
But no, that was Israel, because in LA, that's technically what most of them wore was Cortezes. That's the only place I've ever seen Cortezes is in LA.
Yeah, I mean, so I got a question, because during Detroit, are you saying like the LA fashion dictated what was real?
Yes.
Okay, that's weird. I'd never actually known.
Like the gang culture and stuff of that nature.
Yeah, always
trickles down. So like that's what I'm saying. LA is the only place I've ever seen Cortezes at. So I'm thinking the gang culture has trickled them to think Cortezes is the way to wear, because it never traveled all the way up this side with us, because it was Air Forces. But for them to say Cortezes is like, okay, that's clearly an LA thing.
Oh man. So yeah, Lamar, they had the incident inside the mall with T. He flexed, dropped some money for some diapers.
Hey, and then said he got his daddy eyes.
Yeah.
That was funny.
Wow. They still haven't confirmed was he the one to do it, but it is looking very apparent that he did. And it should just be that way if you ask me. But Lamar hit up the stash spot, who Cato obviously told him, and he got them for all the money. He was the big, he pulled the whole Michael Myers thing coming through the back, which is interesting. And let's talk about Cato here now. Is that Hoop was smart, and this was the slowly starting to expose Cato.
Yes,
and it's interesting because you talk about things that changed. T was definitely against Cato. One episode ago, Meech was for her, and then they flipped. Oh, I don't know why.
At this point,
I want
we need to ask, like, are they like confusing the characters in the right room and say, well, because Meech does this. No, wait, go back. No. T's supposed to do this, not Meech.
Right. So to lay it down, when they in the very beginning of the episode, when they had to talk about the money and whatnot, and the deliverables, they had to get money. They had a certain amount of days and whatnot to put the money under the couch, the stash spot. Yeah. And they let Hoop in. They said, Cato, roll out. B. Mickey was gone all day. It is what it is. It is interesting to me that, again, when she was asked to be removed, it wasn't T, it was Meech. And this was definitely a T thing, because T dismissed her last episode.
Man, T dismissed her in the first episode. He hated her.
Yeah, so it's weird. But, when you're talking about this, it's like the trust amongst her is gone from the brothers. Now you can etch them both off. And when it came down to process of elimination of who ratted out the stash spot, yes, it makes sense for both of them, both to say her, B. Mickey to be for her, because he got his whole he's all whipped and whatnot, and then who obviously was saved by her, which makes sense because of what she said it was, but it just wasn't. It just didn't make sense that the brothers flipped in the way they did, and Cato when you think about her entirely, her doing what she did to first of all, she was dead obvious about we're all here, it's obvious, and she tried to, I don't know, plead the fifth or whatever it may be, but her going there to cover him made sense because that covers her.
Needed to,
yeah. But what's interesting to me is that after that, after she went home, she knew Lamar was going to come. There's a couple of things wrong here. She had to know Lamar was going to come. She also should just tell them that Lamar is after them. I mean, you're putting yourself in if Lamar isn't being compliant with you actually running the plan and he's after you and had his head on your neck, then you probably are in danger either way you go, which means that you probably should just tell your boys. But ultimately, the worst part about this is that then after that, then you uncharacteristically go to be Mickey's house and all of a sudden go from friend zone to completely like, what's good?
Go from in episode 2, I'm never doing that but I built up being the girl in the crew and we cheered her on like, yes, that's right. That's right. And then episode 4, you got a condom? Like, oh, I get serious. Even though I think she's only fucking be Mickey because she needs more people to be on her side.
100%. That's dead obvious. It's dead obvious. This is her tactic of saying like,
but in all honesty,
I need to strengthening my trust.
But in all honesty, this is where Meech and Terry they need to show that they are intelligent. Who else gave up the stash house? We said it. It was 5 of us. Who else gave it up?
Yeah, not the person that got shot. I know it is suspicious for B. Mickey, but as you said, he is your most trusted person.
Even if you thought it was B, just kill both of them. Like, where's Tommy when you need him? Both of them just be dead. Like, I'm not playing.
Cancel Christmas.
Yeah, I'm not playing them to try to figure out who did this.
They're gonna love that in the comments. Yeah. They're gonna love that. They're gonna, oh shit, they brought up Tommy.
But no, it was a bad thing to see her go through this transition, but it's an understandable thing because she has to at this point. She has no choice. She's trying to latch on to something because, again, Lamar has her behind the 8 ball, but you got to wonder what happens when this 8 ball is revealed because it can't just be him. He's not going to tell Terry and Meech, oh, yeah, she's working for me. No, he's not going to do that. He wants them dead and broke. Mm-hmm. He don't care about that. Yeah. So it's got to be something bigger that he's holding back on her that she doesn't want to get out.
Yeah. And also, when she started doing this whole thing with B. Mickey, it's going to make her sloppy as well, too. So expect both of them to be compromised going forward. So really quickly, B. Mickey was out of the game because his mom was in the hospital, and he said that this was too much, seeing her like that, and he didn't want to have to report to Meech. Look, I know a lot of people ain't going to like this, but he's absolutely right. Because you know why? The moment you did tell Meech, he said, my product over your mother. That's not an argument you win in, so you just don't invite it.
Can I ask one question though?
Mm-hmm.
Like he sells drugs, right?
Yeah.
He's in the drug game, right?
Yeah. I'm not saying he did what's best for business.
Nigga, I'm just saying you can't no call no show.
Oh, for
to
sure.
The corners.
Yeah.
But I think this is
No. Wait. Let me be clear. You're not wrong what you're saying. But who has been all right this episode? Does Meech have legs under him to actually tell somebody about being responsible when he hasn't even been responsible to his own brother, who's been calling him out on that the entire time? So I don't blame him for him to say, like, it's no way he's going to understand this, sympathize, or even rationalize with me in it.
I wouldn't have cared. Nick, I don't care that your mother's in the hospital. Nick, I would have shot him in somewhere on his body. The moment you told me you didn't answer my call.
Yeah,
I'm not punching you. I'm gonna put you in a hospital bed next to your mama so you can see her as much as you need to.
Yeah,
but it's that him not fearing consequences from them. I think that's the part that displayed the most to me. That to think it's okay to disappear means I don't think you're gonna do anything to me when I get back.
It's not good for business, but guess what? T also didn't mind this. which is odd. Shall I add? Because T also was like, he didn't come see me in the hospital. But he was the one.
Wait. How many hospitals
Why?
are in? How many hospitals?
Gotta only be one. Gotta only be one. But whatever. Let's go to Detective Bryant. J-Mo is missing. Flamel is in North Carolina. We knew this was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
The body has been found. Detective Bryant has been in a bind the entire time, trying to protect Meech and the boys, trying to protect his job, his statue. His partner is clearly against him for all intents and purposes. Like, it's just, that's his only goal in those meetings, is to expose his partner. But they found him, and he automatically thinks Meech is the one because that's who he dropped him off with. Interesting enough, I don't know why one grown cop and one person who actually didn't do it can't sit back and say, I didn't do it. Blame Lamar. I don't understand.
You know what?
They know he's on the top of the organization. They know it makes sense revenge-wise. Why not just blame?
Didn't Lamar take over his organization afterwards?
It doesn't make no sense. It's just like it's literally playing Tetris, and you got a block, and you got no blocks left, and you just don't know where to go. It's impossible.
In other words, you're saying that they just let them Jones build up until the game over. Look.
Somebody pulled the controller out, and you're just like, bro, what are you doing?
Their whole relationship thing here is just not making any sense at all. Because why would you care? Yeah. Why would you show up to the christening? Meech, you need to come talk to us. You got a warrant? I don't need a warrant to arrest you. Are you joking? I'm not breaking into your house to get you. I don't think that would be better for us. And then 8 minutes later, you show up at his front door. Like, what sense does that make? Like, it's
and you have to remember, much like you said, no matter how we look at this, no matter what's with the whole nature of the show, he's a teenager, so dumb decisions have to be across the board. You have to show, and we're going to have to look at them like, yeah, it doesn't make sense, which is right. He should not be perfect amongst all things. And absolutely being a hothead as he's been, and being very bad in decisions this episode, which is uncharacteristic, it's right on par for him to go right to his house. Like, I definitely, first of all, what was also interesting is how they shot that. It also made it seem like somebody might have been in the car, but I realized it was just his car. And it's still, I thought, brought the mystique of like, well, why are you here? Somebody could be watching you.
That's the whole point of it. Like, nigga, are we not in this business of dirt together here? You can't show up at my front door. Yeah. Are you joking? And I'm not paying off a cop, okay, at their house.
Yeah. Also, they're gonna also have to build Detective Bryant up a little bit more for me now. Mm-hmm. But I think what is interesting is that we are going to see how he has to maneuver now in this very tight bind of him being on the scene for the body discovery, him knowing who did it, him being a part of that. Forensics isn't a problem here, so that, we don't have to worry about that. Mm-hmm. But forensics or ballistics, right? In this era? Yeah. So
neither one of them are that big of an issue here.
Yeah, you're good here. So at this point now, I mean, hopefully somebody plugs their controller back in, places the block in the right thing, and say it was Lamar, who is fresh out of jail, who is moneyed up now. The jury,
no one here seen New Jack City.
He's in the front
it wasn't
of
me.
The Tyson fight. With
it's
a
him.
Coat right now.
The educated nigga in the suit like that. That's all you gotta do, and that's it. It's over.
Front of the Tyson fight right now with a mink. He is.
Hey, Frank Lugerson it up right now, Joe.
It just doesn't make sense. But hey, I think that's part of what we're going to see going forward, because we have to see the fall of Lamar, because we're seeing the rise of him. He's not going to stay on top, and we know there's more to explore in Detroit. So maybe that's what the arc is with Lamar. And I'll be honest, I'm digging Lamar, the character, like the performance and just how unorthodox he is
How much
in
this nigga don't care that he ain't got
at
a
all.
shape up in one episode of the. I am amazed by that. Like that.
My man's storytelling skills, and I don't know what he was doing in jail, but hopefully we won't have to know because
man,
he was telling somebody these stories.
Yeah, you kind of know he was off
the dome with it. He said, "This is my story."
he replaced all them little fairy tales with the worst nightmares in prison.
He said my version. Now, how many times do you think he said that to somebody?
Whoever had to play Little Red Riding Hood with him in prison, man, it was bad.
Let's talk about our last person here, and that's Charles. Pops is this is short and sweet. My man Pride is blasted right now.
Dang.
He looked at the cars and he didn't want to take a picture. He didn't want to eat. My man is just, I mean, he's in the corner with his arms crossed. Like he's pissed.
Hey, I would too. The moment he see them Vols on that Mercedes, he's like, oh yeah, this ain't nope. Even his eyes got droopier.
Yeah.
Like everything hit him at one time, Joe.
Yeah.
And I think what really hurt him a lot too was the discovery of a new granddaughter that we knew nothing about. Like just disappearing out of nowhere.
Oh my goodness.
But that dynamic is still, to me, the one that I'm looking forward to most. Is eventually we got to talk about Meech working that out or something happening between him and his father. That speech that T was given about trying to use a christening to bring everyone together. Yeah. And even his baby sister is like, well, maybe that's not going to happen. Like, I think it's T enjoys that thought of that fantasy.
Yeah,
everything being together and everything being perfect, because the baby mama even said that.
Exactly.
He got this picture of a perfect family.
Yeah, he's definitely prideful about family. Yeah.
And then when did we get to the point of him needing a lawsuit about his eye? Did he not get shot in this eye?
I forgot about that. So it's interesting to me because Mr. Ego, their dad, is self-destructing what appears to be, to me, is a lawsuit that ultimately gets them money. And yes. I don't know if this is factual, but it has to be, which I am beyond curious to know, is this lawsuit, which if you're suing a hospital, we're talking millions.
Especially for an eye.
Is this a catalyst to the upcoming of BMF? And I would have not known this, which when you talk about how the rise of BMF, this is a gem that only certain people would know, because lawsuits, especially back in the day, it was not public knowledge. No. And the money that they got and them getting that, it blends in. But it would explain why the money that they have, essentially this becomes clean money of why the quality of life they live in was never put into question, the family. Which I was like, whoa, is this really a thing? And I'm curious to see how this plays out. I'm not going to research it because I'm going to save it for show purposes. But I will say that the dad is he's self-destructing it. He's fucking the money up in all ways, and he's treating his wife. First of all, where is he going? Because that's the other question.
He's saying it's the '80s in Detroit. He got a little side piece.
Yeah,
come on,
he tooting down 8 Mile Road.
Yeah,
huh?
Clearly.
Well, I guess going forward to next week's episode, we are going to see with J-Mo's body being discovered. What does that mean? Do they finally wisen up and say it was the clear and obvious person to blame, Lamar?
There's literally no one else to blame here at all.
Yeah,
he's the perfect fall guy here.
Yeah, and what if you need any reassurance by that? Who shot T? Lamar. Who put Lamel in the hospital? Lamar.
Look at they need you to stop putting together the puzzle. Okay.
Who did Lamar thrash at the trash can? Another victim of Lamar. at this point now,
Who did he smash at the bathroom at the restaurant? Another victim of Lamar.
and the server, the dude, the register dude.
Yeah, because he beat his ass because he didn't have the burger the way it used to be before he went to prison.
So for them to say that Meech isn't a killer, it's truthful. And so it just doesn't make sense to me. It's like, how do you make a person a suspect who doesn't have a record, and then the person who has a record, it's just like, it's not him. Let's go try to serve this. Oh, let's go.
Not even try to serve him. Let's overly question him and then do nothing behind it. Like, I know the 80s, right? They'd just drug his ass away from that church in handcuffs, and you going downtown. You think they care about a warrant?
Yeah, I think the only thing that's true to that is that Detective Bryant wanted to still protect him in a sense. But you're absolutely right.
Because he has to.
Exactly. You're absolutely right.
That's why I'm surprised they didn't show the partner like, no, we taking him in now.
Exactly. You're dead on about that. Because that's the first thing I said is that, we need a little bit of camera action on what the partner's feeling here. Because the partner definitely was accompanying him like, yeah, we got the person I want. And he kind of seemed like he was compliant. But since it didn't go the way that they wanted, you have to show him saying like, okay, well, just like before, what the fuck was that? You have to address that again. So, that's that. Anyway, we're gonna sign out here. I'm about to go up to the corner and get me a stone burger. I don't know about y'all, but yeah, I'm gonna get a.
I want one of them the burrito Jones that Cato made. That joint look good as a motherfucker, Joe. I don't know who Hoops made that shit look good, but man, I was like, I could go for a good burrito right now. I don't want no stone burger, no crack.
Yeah, let me not incriminate myself.
Hey, you gonna be like that woman that was like, man, I was really hungry.
Real talk. Hey, you always gotta have one of those ladies in there.
Hey, you got to. It was so realistic.
And I love how they made the black church seem extra dramatic because it's true.
hey. When they was zooming in on the singer, I like, yeah.
That's funny. Folks, let us know your thoughts about tonight's episode. It's to me, things are picking up. I don't necessarily agree with this being the 4th episode. I think I would have liked this a lot better being before, but hey, you got to tell the story. And we'll see what it goes. Next week's episode is very pivotal to me. It is the 5th episode, which means the threshold over half the season. Let's see the action now. We got the drama, we got the plot, we got all of everything we need to do. We got almost all the characters introduced. We're still waiting for Eminem's character,
White Boy Rick.
Yeah,
which if anybody saw the movie, could kind of know who and what White Boy Rick represents.
So we'll see. But yeah, let us know in the comments your thoughts about tonight's episode, and join us each and every Sunday for our review of BMF. Thank you for tuning in, folks. We'll see you all next week.